Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about some makeup products that I just decluttered from my collection last night. I was in a little bit of a mood. I was in one of those frames of mind where I just wanted to clean and organize. I had just gotten my BoxyCharm and I was putting some products away, and I realized that my collection in the last couple of months has gotten out of control yet again, and I decided I just needed to say goodbye to some products, even if they were good, even if I liked them, if I wasn't using them. As a beauty influencer, I would say that my makeup collection is definitely much larger than the average person's and contains way more makeup than any one person needs. But compared to some other influencers that are very large and that get entire collections every time they release from a bunch of different brands, I really try to keep my makeup collection very reasonable. I try to keep it down to things that I actually use, that I'm actually reviewing, and if there's products that I recognize I'm not really reaching for anymore, or that I'm only getting to every once in a while, I'd honestly rather give them a new home where they'll be loved and appreciated and used, rather than just sitting and expiring in my drawer somewhere. So I'm going to BeautyCon New York next weekend. I'm really excited about it. If any of you guys are going to be there, let me know in the comments. I would love to meet up with you if we can during the event. But I know with these types of beauty expos, you always end up coming home with a bunch of products. So that was also on my mind last night. I really just realized I need to make some room for new stuff. I need to just be ruthless, let go of some things, and move on. So I'm not going to do this video the way that I would normally do my declutters, which is kind of like a first-person view, going through my whole collection, talking about what I'm keeping and what I am decluttering. I already have all the products that I am getting rid of right here in front of me to show you guys. If you want to see my entire makeup collection and more of the things that I'm probably keeping, I did film a massive declutter of my entire collection at the beginning of this year. I did 5 different videos for 5 different parts of my makeup collection, and I did go through, swatch, play with basically everything. So I will link that playlist for you guys in the cards if you want to check it out, as well as in my description box. So if you want to see more of a traditional declutter, there is plenty in that playlist for you to check out. But for today, I just kind of wanted to chat about the things that I'm going to be letting go of and why, and my thought process and all that jazz. I know this intro is already 100 years long, so I'm sorry about that, but I do want to say hi and welcome to any of you who are new to my channel. My name is Lauren. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I hope you will subscribe, stick around, and come back for more. And in the meantime, let's get into the products that I'm decluttering today. So the 2 big areas of my collection that I tend to accumulate the most product are face and eye palettes and lip products. And I attribute a lot of that to the fact that A, I really like those kinds of products, and B, I also get a lot of them in subscription boxes. Something I realized as I was going through my collection, a lot of these products I received in BoxyCharm, and I love BoxyCharm. Do not get me wrong, I'm actually wearing the ColourPop Elements of Surprise eyeshadow palette on my eyes today. Obsessed, love it. That's what I got in my April box, one of the 5 things, and it's just it's so awesome. Very excited to have it. But I've gotten so much makeup from BoxyCharm since I've been subscribed over a year, and you just end up gravitating more towards certain things than others. You really like something, you use it a lot for a couple of weeks, and then you move on to something else. So I just recognized that some of these products were things I haven't reached for in a little while and probably would be better off going to someone else. On that note, would you guys be interested in seeing a video kind of on the topic of the value of BoxyCharm over the course of a whole year? Because I realized, I do keep a lot of these BoxyCharm products, but I have given a lot of them away. There are some that I've used up, and I was just thinking, I wonder how much are all the products that I've kept actually worth versus the value of everything that I've decluttered and given away versus how much the subscription actually costs. Because BoxyCharm, it's only $21 a month, so it's very affordable. You're getting over $100 worth of product, which sounds great. But if over the course of the year, you only end up actually keeping a quarter of what you're sent, is it really worth the money that you're spending? I thought that might be interesting, so let me know in the comments down below if that's something you guys would like to see. So with all that being said, let's talk about what I am going to be giving away. So first up are these 3 face palettes. These are all things that I've received from BoxyCharm over the months. This one I honestly haven't even swatched. I haven't even touched. This is the Beauty Basics Bronze Essentials palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's got these like matte bronzer strips with like shimmery highlighter kind of striped in between. And honestly, I haven't heard very favorable reviews from other people that get BoxyCharm about this product. A lot of people say that it's very warm and orange on them, which I think maybe if you have a very golden undertone or a very tan complexion, maybe this would look good on you, or maybe you could use this more as like a blush than a bronzer contour. I don't know. I just have a lot of bronzer and face palettes, so the odds of me reaching for this on a regular basis is probably pretty slim. So if there's someone else in my life that would like to try this out and use it, I'd rather give it to them. Then I have this Real Her Be Fearless, Be Limitless blush trio here. These are pretty. They are kind of sheer and a little bit glittery. They're nice, but I just don't find myself reaching for these blushes, especially since I just got a bunch of PR from Pixi that has a ton of blush shades in the palettes that I was sent. Like, that's basically what I've been reaching for, along with the million other blushes I have in my collection. So I know the odds of me ever reaching for this on a regular basis is probably pretty slim, so I think I just want to give it away. And then last is this Pure Bronze and Brighten Dreamer Cheek Palette. Now, this one is also really pretty, and at first I was very turned off by it, but I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought. All 3 of these products are intensely shimmery. They almost have like a chunky metallic finish to them. When you swatch them, you think they're gonna look like a hot mess on the skin, but when you apply them with a brush, they actually go on a lot less like metallic and chunky and texture enhancing than you would think. So it's a really, really pretty trio. This apricot-y orange blush here is super stunning, but I know I have the Becca Luminous blush in the shade Tiger Lily, which is very similar to this, so I don't really need another orange blush in my collection. Like, I think this is a really pretty palette and somebody else would really love it. Again, I just know, like, I've been really into my new Pixi Dulce Candy palette for highlighter, so I don't know, I just know that I probably won't be using this as much as I want. Then I've got some eyeshadow palettes, and these guys are a little bit surprising because they're all really good and I like all of them. The reason why I'm decluttering these palettes is just because I have so much eyeshadow, and I think I have other palettes right now in my collection that I find myself using more. And I think if I hold on to these, they are just going to collect dust for the next 3 to 6 months, and that is something I don't want to happen. So the first one here is by Crown Brush. This is the Glam Metals eyeshadow palette. This is really cute. I got this again in a BoxyCharm. It's a little 9-pan palette. All of these shades have a kind of satin or metallic finish to them, and they're kind of grungy, earthy, cool tones. It's a really beautiful palette, and especially if you have a matte eyeshadow palette already at home, these would be great for lid colors or for kind of defining, just making one of those sort of more grungy, nighttime kind of looks. That being said, I know in the times that I've reached for this, I pretty much always used this shade Pop Rock. I really like this one here all over the lid, but I haven't reached for the other shades as much, and I know that I do have some similar colors in other palettes. So I just feel like this is something I'm never going to utilize. I don't really do a lot of silver looks on my eyes. It's just not something I prefer. I'm more of a warm toned girl, but I know there are other people that probably would appreciate and like these colors, so I'm gonna pass it along. Then this one was really tough because I like this palette a lot and I don't really want to declutter it, but I know if I'm being realistic with myself, it's probably for the best that I give it to somebody that I like. This is the Pure Cosmetics Soiree Diaries palette. I don't think this is available anymore. There may be some retailers that still have some in stock, but I don't think Pure is producing them anymore. But basically this is a neutral eyeshadow palette. You get 8 matte shades and 4 metallic shades. It's really beautiful, very pigmented, very smooth. I like this a lot. I've used it a bunch. I created some really beautiful looks with this when I got it. But Pure and BoxyCharm just collaborated on a new palette that we got in a recent box. and that one is a little bit more colorful, and I've been enjoying that one a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for spring and summer. And I also just got the new Milani Most Loved Mattes palette, which has basically all of these exact same shades in it, as well as the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette and the Persona Identity palette. So like between those palettes, I have, like, these are all dupe colors basically, and I think I like the formula and the other palettes I have a little bit better. So I think I would rather just give this to somebody else. Like, I could see my mom loving this eyeshadow color palette. I could see a lot of other people really enjoying this. So as much as it pains me and I like this, I do not want to be selfish about it. And then I used exactly the same logic when it comes to the Lorac Pro 3 palette. I've had this one for a while. It's the only Pro palette I've owned. It's a little bit beat up and loved because I have used this a lot. But if I ask myself how I feel about this formula compared to some of the other ones I just mentioned, again, I think I'm more of a fan of those palettes over this one. I just noticed, for me personally, some of these shades kind of look the same on my eyes. Like, I kind of hoped that they would not blend together so easily. They are very soft and easy to work with. I think for someone that is trying to learn to do eyeshadow, that doesn't want to do super complicated looks, you can do a lot of very simple, easy, everyday things with this palette. So I definitely feel like it will be good for someone. I just know I haven't reached for this in a long time, especially with all the new things that I have. So I think it's time. I think it's time for me to say goodbye. And then I've got a couple of smaller little palettes here. I have two of these Milani Everyday Eyes palettes. I have the Earthy Elements and then the Plum Basics, and I love both of these. I think that they are very, very cute, travel friendly. I love the shades in Earthy Elements, and I also love purples, so I've enjoyed the Plum Basics one a lot. But I just purchased a few months ago the new Milani palettes, as I mentioned before, Most Loved Mattes and Bold Obsessions. So I really don't need these per se because there is some shade repetition, and I know that there's nothing in either of these palettes that I can't dupe from something else in my collection somewhere. So I think it would probably make sense for me to pass these ones along since I have the bigger palettes. And then the last eyeshadow thing that I'm going to declutter is the Too Faced White Chocolate Chip palette. I have not reached for this in ages. Oh my goodness. It smells delicious, I'm not gonna lie. It smells like a vanilla cupcake or something. You kind of want to just lick it, you know? But honestly, you know, this palette, it was okay. It's just very, very light, very neutral. There's not a lot of dimension in here. I created some looks with it. Really, I purchased this mainly to review it and share my thoughts with you guys, and I feel like I've done that, and I've had it sitting around for a while, and I haven't reached for it in who knows how long. So maybe there's somebody else that wants some fun scented makeup or that would appreciate these really light colors. I could see anybody that has a very, very fair complexion might actually be able to see these show up on their skin, so we'll see if there are any takers. Alright, so moving on to some lip products that I'm decluttering. The first things here are these Lorac Alter Ego lip glosses. These are beautiful, and these were in their like rose gold packaging that they had as a limited edition thing for the holidays in 2016. So these are like well over a year old now, which is why I'm like, all right, Lauren, you just need to declutter these because you really shouldn't keep lip products for a very long time because they're going directly on your mouth. They get bacteria in them. It's not the most sanitary thing you want to be, you know, like eating. But I will say the formula on these glosses is beautiful. I really liked it. It's very, very shiny. It's very moisturizing. It goes on really creamy and not sticky. But I will say, as many lip glosses do, as it starts to dry down and absorb into your lips, it does become like a little bit sticky. If you reapply, the stickiness goes away immediately, but it's a lip gloss. It wears like a lip gloss. These are pretty pigmented though, actually, so you could wear them all on their own, or you could layer them over a lip liner or a lipstick. I think that nobody talks about them, and they should, because they're really nice and they're pretty affordably priced. They're under $20. I want to say they're either 17 or 19, I don't honestly remember. And Lorac you can get at Ulta, you can get it at Kohl's now, so it's around. They're definitely worth checking out. And when they do their sets at the holidays, when I got these, they had like 6 of them in there. These are the 3 shades I ultimately ended up keeping because, of course, they're all like pinks and nudes and neutrals, which are my jam. So I did really enjoy these, and I would love to just keep on using them forever, but I know that they're old and I probably should. Now on the flip side, something that I was less a fan of, and I don't know why I still have this, pretty much I think just because I wanted to have something to compare this formula to, but I haven't worn it in an eon and it's old. It's the Milani Amore Matte Lip Cream. This is in the shade Precious, which is kind of like a dusty pink shade. And I just don't like this formula, to be honest. I do like liquid lipsticks, but I've always felt like the Amore Matte lip creams dry down to this very powdery texture on my lips, and they crack and they kind of like flake off, and then you'll get like little bits of liquid lipstick on your chin and you can smear it. It's a hot mess. They just feel really, really drying. I mean, they are very opaque and pigmented. Like when you put it on, it is full color, but it will also dry down a bit darker. It's like that kind of very liquidy paint-like formula that goes on and is very long wearing, but is also super drying at the same time. So this is honestly like the last man standing. I've already decluttered all the other shades of this formula that I had in my collection previously, and I think it's just time. I think it's time to let this one go. I think I'm also going to declutter this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Creme Brulee. These are really good actually, and I do really like them. I just don't find myself reaching for this very often, and again, I think it's getting kind of old. I honestly don't even know how much I've used this one, which is sad if I've only used it like once or twice and then I'm just gonna have to throw it away. Like, again, this is why I like to declutter, because I feel like holding on to things you're not using is such a waste. These smell like candy. They're very creamy. They have quite a bit of pigment in them. They are just a really nice gloss, maybe a little less plumping and kind of like juicy looking than the Alter Ego glosses from Lorac, but they're still nice, and they come in a bunch of colors and they're like $6. So if you want a nice springtimey lip gloss, these are very good. I just know I'm not using this, so it's gotta go goodbye. Then I've got this Lock Color Locket Velvet Lip. I think I got this at a Generation Beauty event at some point. I've tried it a few times. Not really a huge fan of the formula on this. It's very whipped in texture, which I don't necessarily mind. Sometimes whipped lipsticks can actually be very comfortable and non-drying. This just felt like it sat on top of my lips and never really dried down in any way, so it was very easy to like move it around, and it just looked like I had product on my lips. It was just very apparent. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just not super flattering. The color is really pretty. This one's called Nudie Pink, which is why I kept it. I mean, like, I love this shade of a lip product. I just wasn't a super huge fan of the formula, so I'm not gonna hold on to it. And then I'm decluttering a bunch of mini lippies. Now, I love mini products. I love mini lip products, especially because Lord knows, as I'm just decluttering a bunch of full-size stuff, I almost never go through a full-size lip product. So I feel like the minis quell my interest for a shade, for a formula, but I'm not necessarily wasting my money buying a whole full-size lip product. That being said, I had so many, and I decided I have like 2 little drawers, and whatever fit in there was all I was keeping, and anything else, it was like, all right, goodbye. If there's not enough room for you, I'm not going to make more room. You just need to go. So like, I'm gonna declutter these little mini of the Grande Lips Hydrating Lip Plumpers because I actually have the full size of this product, so I don't really need the minis anymore. I'm going to declutter this Buxom full-on lip cream in the shade White Russian. I know a lot of people love this product, but I actually am not like a super huge fan of the like really minty, tingly lip glosses. I have a few, and I know I'm gonna keep the ones that I have, but this like really pale kind of milky pink color I don't feel like suits me really well. I have to wear it with another lip product because on its own over my natural lips it just looks crazy, so I just don't find myself reaching for this anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it. I got a mini of the Too Faced Melted Liquefied Longwear Lipstick. I love this. This is the shade Chihuahua. These smell like Sweet Tarts. Really great formula. I feel like it does dry down a little bit, but not completely. It's like a semi-matte finish, really comfortable. I do enjoy it, but this is old, so I think I'm just gonna say goodbye. Also, I have the Melted Matte. This one is supposed to be a more dry matte finish than the regular melted lipsticks. I just don't care for this color a ton. It's a very cool grayish kind of pink, and I feel like on my skin sometimes those colors can make me look a little bit dead, so I just didn't find myself reaching for this that often, and it's a little bit old. I got this Tartist Quick Dry Matte Lip Paint in the shade Rosé. Really cute, pretty nude color, but I have 100 million nude liquid lipsticks, so I'm sure I have something in full size that I can use instead of that. I have this Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipstick, and honestly I keep this around because I've never tried the Kat Von D liquid lipstick formula, and I honestly still don't think I've tried it yet, but I don't love this color particularly. I remember I got this in a Sephora Play Box, and I know a lot of other people around the time that this went out weren't a huge fan of this shade, and I just haven't really used it. Like, I guess I could try it out at some point. Have I even swatched this? Like, all right. I mean, it's not horrible. It's like a purple, like a rosy kind of purple color. It's nice. I don't know. If there was anything I was going to change my mind about, it would probably be this, purely just because I have been curious about the formula and I do want to actually try it out on my lips. Again, I just ran out of room in my drawer, so I told myself I was getting rid of it. So we'll see. Then the last mini is this little Makeup Forever Artist Rouge Cream lipstick. This is a really pretty nude shade, don't get me wrong. I think it's really nice. It's like a nice dusty rose mauve nude, but again, I have 100 lipsticks I feel like in this color. All right, well maybe not actually 100, probably like 5, but 5 is more than I need. I also discovered these guys in my collection, and I honestly don't think I've used them at all. These were things I got at Generation Beauty New York, and I don't know if these are lip or cheek colors. I think they're like a stain that you could use on your lips or your cheeks. I swatched one of them on my hand last night, and it was pigmented. This orange one, it was like, woo, intense. But it did seem extremely long wearing and smudge proof once it dried down, so that's kind of cool. I don't know how these are because I never actually tried them on my face. I just don't know if I'm ever going to get around to trying them because I have so much other stuff I'm trying to get through right now, so it may just be better for me to give these to somebody else who wants to try them out. And then the very last couple of things in my declutter for today are brand new products that I just received that immediately I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to take these out of the packaging. I'm just going to give these to someone because it's probably better than me thinking in my head that I'll get around to using these. The first one is this Brow Gal Insta Tinted Brow Gel with microfibers. Normally I would be all over this, but everyone in BoxyCharm got the same shade, which is Light Hair 03, and as you can tell, my hair is not very light and my eyebrows are also not very light, and I feel like every time I use a really light eyebrow pencil or brow color on my eyebrows, it looks really, really weird. So I think my mom would probably be able to use this because she has much, much lighter hair than I do. So I was thinking about giving this to her. And then I just got this Revlon lipstick in my BeautyCon ticket box. This is in the shade Fire and Ice, which looks like it's like a really vibrant red, and I do love a good red lipstick, don't get me wrong, but I don't wear them on a super regular basis. So I know I really don't need another red in my life right now. So it's probably better for me to just give this to somebody else as opposed to like just swatching it and having it sit around and collect dust. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today and seeing what I am letting go from my makeup collection. I always feel really good after I've decluttered because I know that A, I'm probably gonna make somebody else's day because I have all these really great products that I'm sure somebody else will enjoy, and B, I just feel like I have a weight lifted off my shoulders when I don't have a bunch of stuff cluttering up my entire life. If you guys enjoy these decluttering type videos or collection videos, give this one a thumbs up. I always really appreciate your support. And again, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you click that button before you go if you want to see more of my videos in the future. And again, if you're going to be at BeautyCon in New York this coming weekend, I think it's April 21st and 22nd, I'm probably only going to be there on Saturday because I have some other stuff going on Sunday. But let me know. I would love to see you if you're going to be there. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend ahead, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.